PM speech sounds like the perfect utopic world where it's all just going to be just fine. What PM doesn't talk about is the interest gathered afterward after you take off the semester, the generational debt due to you struggling for paying it, and etc. This is why before I get into my substantive, I'll be starting with few points of clarification and then some response. First is what the government incentive actually is for them to do this. To suddenly blow a bunch of money that is limited in their funds, government pick and choose because paying for someone university isn't their only priority. The reason why government funds scholarship student is because they have massive amount of potential. This is why they get a guarantee that they're spending their money for something that is good and actually get a payback later on in their society. Next is on the capacity to actually pay back the government. PM acts like getting a bachelor degree equals getting a super high paying job to actually sustain both their lives, family, etc. and their debt. But in the capitalistic society, just having a bachelor degree probably equals getting a manager or team head position, and that's only after a couple of years of working years. When you probably just join in straight out of fresh out of college, you probably only get minimum wage or just front job desk. Due to the lack of mechanization from PM, we can now say like that these people can avoid paying debts by doing work in informal sectors, etc. This is why proposition policy was a jumbled up benefits without actually telling you why that will happen. Here we're going to provide you with a counterfactual. Our counterfactual is simple. Other alternatives or like the sheer amount of programs to actually help out the student is already a lot and enough. What do we have? We have government or not just the government, other institution funding you. Tuition reduction based on your family income. This is why the middle class can still get the benefit because it's personalized based on your family income and it only talks about the base income, not the bonuses. Next is that the scholarship itself. If proposition set it's hard, we're going to flip this. There's already a bunch of programs for every other demographic of people. There's specific one from charity to the underprivileged people. There's one from the middle class. There's one for smart people, talented people, even ordinary people. There's so many kinds of scholarships now. Adding more programs is simply are needed when a variety of demographic is already catered to the programs you have right now. One rebuttal here, they claim that under proposition that you're going to get a more educated public due to them getting access better. But the incentive of people to actually go to university is variative. First, they might go for a reputation, so the social life, or some actually studying, making scholarship into the only way people who cannot afford getting into university to actually get in it filters out the people who don't take it genuinely. This is so government now won't have to waste funds on people who don't take it genuinely, but they'll just pay the people who actually will pay back to the society. First, substantive. Why student loan isn't simply sustainable. What is the problem here? When student loans are implemented, short term, it might seem like they're now safe from a savior due to the fact that can now go to university, like a big bright light just now given to them. They now continue their tertiary education while the debt accumulate each semester they go through. We all agree that tuition is expensive. This is why through all of these, most people under side proposition will probably be in a lifetime debt, struggling to pay them. Because there's a disproportionate amount the debt and they earn in the capitalistic society. Why is this important? PM tells you that it's completely fine for you to be in debt as long as for your whole life, as long as you get education. What did not tell you is the paycheck cuts, the payment disproportionate from your own wages. The fact that it's disproportionate and our society is capitalistic, it's way harder to rise up the rank in jobs or even getting a job. And eventually paying the debt itself. This leads to leading to generational debt. Stuck with their own debt, you passing down your debt to your kids, they have their own debts. This is a cycle of poverty being propagated into your family. Proposition tells you that government won't take all of your money. They'll just cut some from your paycheck and the normal amount so you'll survive. But really, how long will the government wait for you? If you stay as a manager for your whole life and the normal payment from your paycheck is barely making a dent, the government has every authority to rise it up. Why? Because they're the one giving you those loans in the first place. especially when their main incentive to actually give you loans in the first place is for you to pay them back, because yeah, they have limited funds too. This also leads them to send letters to your house, the same thing that you get in your mailbox when you didn't pay taxes. This basically acts them into like some sort of loan shark. This is where the line blurs between this and conventional loans, when proposition claims to them to be a calmer version other than that. Yeah, so what is the solution, and why do we think that alternatives are already enough? Scholarships and other programs are now becoming more accessible. Nowadays, scholarship isn't just given out by one top organization, but a bunch of them. The government itself has a bunch of options for people in rural areas, smart people at A, people who does B, people who win competitions, etc. Government isn't the only institute now that can give out scholarship. We have NGOs, we have big brands, we have educational organization, we have charity, even the university itself, even individual, all of them have some sort of program to actually fund your university and give a scholarship, etc. Then what about the non-scholarship options? University costs depend on how you got in, whether invitations, tests, or independent. So yeah, this actually leads to people to have the incentive to study more so they can actually get in through a way that actually gives them like less tuition. Next is that university tuition are personalized. When my brother got into university, we have to fill out a form with our living condition, where we live, bills, and our income. The result is something that is personalized to my parents' income, and now something that we can actually afford without us going into bankruptcy. So yeah, why is all these things like impacts important? Through striving and chasing for scholarship, you get a bunch of benefits. One, you consistently try to improve yourself by joining stuff that you never thought you will, but you join it for you to get more chances of getting university. This way, you're actually improving to be a better member of society later on, and now you're actually someone who actually tries and strives to be a better member of society and actually pay back later on to the government through the scholarship that you got. Why would people try to get scholarship in the first place? Humans inherently have the instinct to survive. They want to survive in this capitalistic world. This is why people in the lower stratification, or people unable to afford university, tries to find an opportunity to get into one, due to the fact that they know the capitalistic society now, to survive in them, to actually get a job in them, you need at least a bachelor degree to do so. They want to survive in this society, and they want to get out of they want social mobility, and they want to get out of the poverty cycles, the generational cycles later on. This trickles down to better human resources due to people trying to get scholarship and their effort they're putting into it. What do we get what do we negate from not implementing student loans? The sheer of disproportion of wages and loan payments would have makes it harder to people for actually pay back and end the debt. The generational debt being passed down to your younger kids, to your kids, etc., when they have their own things to do and their own debts later on. It's very funny how the very thing that proposition try to protect, which are the people within the middle and lower stratification level, will still be living paycheck to paycheck, and now even worse with extra burden through this. All those things, all those debts are just going to pile up, and then you have to pass them down to your kids. This way, but under our side, you at least have an incentive to actually develop yourself and not bring your family down later on to a poverty line. This is why I'm so proud.